you, Miss Joanne Fairbrother.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I've lost my notes now. Hold on. I just pressed off so I could read a there we go. Got them. Sorry.
Miss Jo-
Okay. So I wanted to start off by we're going to be talking about the NRF2 and the collagen, but I wanted to start off by asking a question. How many of you been asked, do I really need to take both? Can I just take the collagen, or is an NRF2 just enough on its own? So today I want to share that answer to that question. But first of all, we've got to understand how the body works. Because when you understand how the body works, explaining these two products becomes a little bit more easier. Both of the products are incredibly powerful on their own, but when you understand each one and what they're doing inside the body, you'll start to see why together they're actually a really powerful partnership. So what I want to do is start peeling back the layers and discuss what's actually really happening. Now, I think sometimes we forget how incredibly amazing your body really is. So right now, without even thinking about it, your heart is beating, your lungs are breathing, your liver is detoxifying, your immune system is watching all for the invaders, and your body is repairing damaged cells. It's also making collagen, producing antioxidants, and replacing old cells with new ones. It's absolutely amazing. So around 30 to 40 trillion, and I said the word trillion, cells are working every second just to keep you alive. Your body's an amazing machine, and we don't recognize how it just does this on its own. It's on autopilot, and it knows exactly what it needs to do. So the problem isn't that your body forgets how to repair itself. The problem is eventually life places so much more stress on the body than it can comfortably keep up with. So most people, as we all know, have heard of the word oxidative stress. But what does it really mean? Well, the way that I can easily explain it to my clients and to other people is by explaining the apple method. Now, we all know that if we cut an apple in half and leave it on the bench, what's going to happen? Well, it slowly is going to turn brown as you slice it down from the inside, and then it's going to then go to the outside. And it's the same analogy then if we have metal. If it has oxidization or it has like salt water and water to it, it then will start to rust. Cars rust over time, metal rusts over time, your fruit also browns. That's what we call oxidization. So it's the exact same process that's happening inside our bodies every single day. Now think about it. Every breath we take, every meal we eat, every stressful day that we have, every workout, or even just getting older is creating free radicals. Now, this is all completely normal. Your body is designed to understand how to live and how to combat this, right? And it expects it. But the problem starts when we're producing more free radicals than our body can start neutralizing. So that is what's called oxidative stress. And here's the really important part. Oxidative stress is silent. You just don't wake up one morning and think, oh, I think I've got a little bit of oxidative stress happening today. It doesn't happen like that. It quietly builds over days, over months, sometimes years before it even is noticeable, okay? So life today is very different than when we lived or even 50 years ago. We're exposed to way more processed foods. Our environment is full of a lot of chemicals. We have so much more stress, whether it's financial, emotional, work stress, family stress. More medications than ever before is being handed out. We have less sleep or poor sleep, more pollution, and our nutrient and our soils are depleted. So even the food that we're eating, which we once called nutritional, can be nutrition, sorry, our food isn't also nutritionally dense as it once was, okay? So we become more deficient as a society. So I always think that food is the foundation of our health, and I'll always believe that. But when the body is under consistent stress, food alone sometimes isn't enough to keep up with the amount of oxidative stress that we're producing daily, okay? So that's why supporting the body's own defense system becomes even more important. So this is what happens to your body. Now, I want you to imagine this house is your body. It's a little bit of inflammation is not a bad thing. So just imagine if you cut your finger, your body creates inflammation to help heal it. This is absolutely normal. And the problem is that the fire, when the fire doesn't go out, then becomes the problem. So imagine if someone lights a small fire in one of the bedrooms at the back of the house. Then the fire brigade comes and it arrives straight away. So you know what? There's going to be very little damage. But what happens if nobody even notices that the fire was going and then it starts spreading slowly by slowly, room by room? Eventually, the whole house is on fire, right? So this is what we would call in your body chronic inflammation. And what keeps feeding the fire? Well, we just go back to exactly what I was almost talking about. Every day we have processed foods. We have sugar that's causing massive amounts of inflammation. We have the chronic stress that I was talking about. We have poor sleep, smoking, alcohol, environmental chemicals, the air pollution that we are breathing, excess body fat, UV exposure, even lack of movement, and the things that we can't see like the EMF rays, the Wi-Fi's, the Bluetooths. So what's happening now is that we have a lot of impacted oxidative stress happening in the body. Now, none of these on their own are necessarily the problem. It's the accumulation. It's that one little spark today. It's another one tomorrow, another one next week. Days become months, then months become years. And eventually that fire is burning quietly inside your body. So this is the problem, and we don't even realize it's even started. Now, this is one of my probably favorite ways to explain things, and it does make sense. Now, most of us are starting to think of symptoms as being the problem. Well, we can also think of symptoms as being like the smoke alarm. So by the time the smoke alarm goes off, the fire has already been burning for some time, okay? So that's the same thing that's happening in your body. And remember I said that your body is incredibly clever. It doesn't suddenly just stop working overnight. It starts to compensate. It starts to adapt, and it keeps trying to repair itself all the time until eventually it starts sending us little messages. Now, these messages come back to maybe your energy's low, maybe your brain fog, you're not thinking clearly. Maybe when you exercise, you're not recovering like you used to. Maybe your joints are aching more than they used to when you get up, and we think that we're just getting older. It can also change in your skin as we start aging, it's changing. And maybe your hair or your nails are becoming weaker. Maybe we just don't feel like ourselves anymore. I don't know how many women I speak to that they just don't feel like themselves, right? They know something's not right, but they can't put their finger on it. So these symptoms don't necessarily appear because something happened yesterday. No, it's not about just yesterday. Often these have been building quietly on a cellular level for months, sometimes years. And the smoke alarm isn't the problem. It's simply your body's way of saying, hey, I'm under a lot of pressure than I can comfortably manage. I could really use some extra support. And that's where I believe that we need to stop looking at just the symptoms and start supporting the body on a cellular level. Now, here's the real exciting part. The body hasn't forgotten to repair itself. It hasn't stopped trying. In fact, it's still working 24/7 just to protect us. The problem isn't that the body doesn't know what to do. The problem is that eventually it simply cannot keep up with the amount of oxidative stress that it's facing. So the question becomes, how do we better support our body's own natural defense system? So this is how we do it. So we've already identified the problem. We've talked about oxidative stress quietly building up inside your body. And then we've seen how the fuel is causing the inflammation and the fire is the burning house. And then the smoke alarm, it's sent a message and it's gone off. So the obvious question is, who's putting out the fire? Well, the exciting thing is your body already has its own natural fire brigade. and that is called the NRF2 pathway, right? So I like to think of the NRF2 as the master control switch for your body's own natural defense system. And when the NRF2 is activated, it signals your body to produce powerful antioxidant enzymes that help you to protect your cells from the oxidative stress overload. So when we talk about LifeVantage Protandim NRF2 Synergizer, this is where it comes in, because we've combined the 5 plant ingredients, which is, you all know, is the turmeric, the green tea, the bacopa, the milk thistle, and the ashwagandha. Now, all of these herbs have been studied uniquely and have amazing properties, okay? And I've worked with them all individually before. But what makes Protandim different is simply the individual herb, not just the individual herbs, but the combination, okay? The synergy that they bring together, the formula, and that's what makes the difference with the NRF2. So simply it means that we have not just one ingredient working on its own, but they are activating now the NRF2 pathway to support your body's own natural antioxidant defense system, okay? So the other part that really fascinates me, and what I actually just learned last year, is that most people think that antioxidants are the answer. And don't get me wrong, I'm a naturopath. I love good food, love colorful vegetables. I eat my blueberries most mornings. But food will always be the foundation for good health. But here's the challenge. If you have like vitamin C molecule and it can neutralize, a vitamin C molecule can neutralize 1 free radical and then it's used up. It's almost like, if we want to share this and explaining it, it's almost like carrying 1 bucket of water to the house fire. Yeah, it could be a little bit helpful, absolutely. But is it enough to put out the whole fire? Probably not. So if you can compare that to what happens when NRF2 is activated, instead of carrying now 1 bucket or more buckets, what's happening here, because that's a slow process, what's happening now is that you're switching on the sprinkler system that's already inbuilt in your house. Or we could be bringing the fire crew and the team and the big ladder and the big water pipe, and we're now pushing that water down. Okay, so now we're putting out the fire. And one of the body's own antioxidant enzymes is called SOD. Now, you don't need to remember this specifically at all. You just have to remember that once it's activated, one SOD enzyme can neutralize up to 1 million free radicals every second, and it keeps working. That's the incredible difference. That's why when we talk about activation rather than supplementation. Now, another important enzyme is the catalase, which works alongside the SOD to complete the antioxidant process. Now, then we have my favorite molecule, which I was saying wrong for years, is glutathione, right? Now, you may have heard this as being referred to as the body's master antioxidant, and it is. And this is the thing that I talk about all the time. If the NRF2 is the fire brigade, then the glutathione is the cleanup crew. The fire brigade has done its job, the fire is out. But somebody still has to clean up the ash. They have to remove the burnt furniture. They've got to repair the smoke damage and begin restoring the house. And that's exactly how I think of the glutathione, right? It's the cleanup crew. So one of the reasons so many of us were first attracted to even LifeVantage, and because of the published information that's come through, is the clinical research. And it's demonstrated that an average of 40% reduction in markers of oxidative stress in 30 days. Now, that's pretty amazing, and it's really significant research. And it also has demonstrated that approximately 300% increase in glutathione in supporting the body's own natural antioxidants response. Now, that is just amazing. So if someone actually asks you, what does NRF2 actually do? You don't need to overwhelm them or bombard them with the scientific terminology. You can keep it simple by saying, Protandim NRF2 helps to activate your body's own natural antioxidant defense system, helping your cells better protect themselves from oxidative stress. That's it. People don't need to understand every scientific pathway. They just need to understand the role and the story that it provides. So now I want to go back to our house and we want to talk about collagen. The fire has been put out. That's awesome. But would you move back into your family house? That house that's just been burnt, would you move into it tomorrow? Probably not. And that's because just because the fire has stopped, there's still a lot of damage to repair, okay? And that's where the collagen comes into the story. So if NRF2 is the fire brigade, then the collagen is the builder. Somebody still needs to rebuild the house, and collagen is actually the most abundant protein in the human body. It makes up around 25 to 35% of all the protein in our bodies. So I want you to think of the collagen as a scaffolding. So see, as I've got the image there, they look like scaffolding, right? In between your skin layers, okay? So scaffolding holds everything actually together. No different than that image. You can see it, it's all connecting up, okay? Because it's the foundation of your skin. It's your joints, it's your muscles, it's your tendons, it's the ligaments, your bones, your blood vessels, and even the lining of your gut. So without strong collagen, everything gradually loses strength and support. So unfortunately, for us as we age, but from the age of 30 on, our natural collagen production is starting to decline. So that's why often when we notice changes like fine lines, reduced skin elasticity, slower recovery, joint comfort, and or less joint comfort, I should say, and changes in our hair and nails. Now, here's something that I think is really important. Most collagen products do one thing really well. They just provide collagen. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I always ask one question: who's actually doing the building? Because at the end of the day, your body is still the builder. And that's why the True Science Liquid Collagen is absolutely different than any other collagen that's out there. And it's designed around 3 simple steps. First, it activates to support your body's own natural collagen production. Second, it's replenishing. It's providing multiple collagen peptides into your body. And third, it's starting to maintain. It's helping to protect your collagen from breaking down. So that's what we really want to do. But it's exactly what we learned also in the NRF2. We're not replacing the body's natural system. We're supporting the system that was already there. And the clinical research, even on the collagen, is just as exciting because it even demonstrates a 42% increase in collagen density after 8 weeks. Now, along with improvements of skin appearance, and we also know inflammation reduction. But I always remind even my clients or other people that this is not an overnight process. Just like our bodies start to break down, it didn't happen overnight. So we have to remember to ask your body that it has to rebuild new tissue. And this is going to take time. So the guideline that I use and I share is that I encourage that for every 1 month or for every decade of life, to allow yourself at least 1 month of the collagen or even the NRF2. So for example, I'm 56, but closer to 60. So even when I first started, I said that I would allow 6 months, and I am still utilizing the product still to now because I've seen so much results, not just in myself, but even in the clients that I use in the clinic. Now, you might go, well, why did we have to be on it so long? It doesn't mean that the product doesn't work. It works differently for each person, but the body has to rebuild itself, okay? It's not a magic quick fix or a magic bullet, but if the body is provided the right nutrients and the right information, it can start reactivating the cells on the inside because we're not looking for a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid is what we call quick fixes. Your body needs time to heal because, as I said before, it's been taking a long time to get to where you were that you noticed your symptoms. So when we go back to the very first question, I say, why do we do both? Hopefully by now the answer is obvious because these do 2 completely different jobs. The NRF2 helps to support your own body's natural antioxidant defense system. The collagen is helping to support rebuilding and maintaining the body's structural framework. So when we think back to the house, if you are only to rebuild the house while it's still on fire, you're going to be consistently repairing that damage because it's still happening. But if you only put the fire out without rebuilding, the house never becomes a home again. So that's why these 2 products complement each other so beautifully. One helps to protect and the other helps to rebuild. And together they're supporting what the body has already known what to do. And that's the message that I really want you to take away with you today. So whether you're learning about this for yourself or your family, or simply you're curious to how your body works, we just have to start by understanding the body and how incredible it is. And it already knows how to protect itself. It already knows how to repair itself. It already knows how to rebuild, but sometimes it just needs the right support. And once you understand the oxidative stress, and once you understand why collagen naturally declines as we age, and the reason why these two products work together, it's become so much more easy to understand. So if you only remember 4 things today, this is what I want you to remember. Number 1, your body already knows how to protect and repair and rebuild. Number 2, oxidative stress quietly builds up over time and can overwhelm our natural support system. Number 3, NRF2 helps activate the body's own natural antioxidant defense system. And lastly, collagen helps to support rebuilding and maintaining the body's structural framework. And then when we put these all together, you have a better understanding on how these actually work and how they're powerful as a partnership. And I'd like to leave you with one final thought. Your body isn't working against you. It's working for you every single day. Our job is to simply provide it and support it with what it needs. And it's a beautiful system, and it will go back to doing what it needs to do. So thank you for listening to me. And I hope that I explained it as best as I could, and how I use this time and time again in my clinic. This is my number 1 sales products that I do utilize for most of my clients. And that's because it supports the system, and I understand how, and I've got so many results that have come back from my clients that I can't not share it, and I can't keep it a secret.